Hello, people. It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. And this is episode 80-something, 83 maybe? Anyway, let's talk about people's opinions. People's opinions. Yes, everybody has one. And what I've noticed is that most people don't actually seek to understand. They just share their opinions, but they don't actually understand the bigger picture. I just got a text from a friend who had visited over the weekend, and he shared some feedback that a friend I had met of his had shared with him about some of the posts they had seen on my Facebook page. Now, they're in marketing as well, and I totally respect this person and that they have an opinion. I think that's great. And in fact, in some ways, I appreciate that they shared their opinion with him and then he shared it with me. Like, that's great. We can all learn from one another, yes? Nobody's got all the answers. And if I can put my ego aside for a minute, I think it's awesome to look at what people noticed and see how I can use it. So when my ego is a little less offended, I'll come back late to that text thread later and look at what this person suggested and see what they suggested I might want to include and not include. But here's the point for you. What I noticed, so this person is in marketing and they had so many different pieces of advice. It was like, Chris's content would do well on Snapchat. Maybe Chris's content, the videos that Chris does would be better on YouTube, but he shouldn't wear earbuds. He shouldn't sit back in an executive chair that skews masculine. He should skew his stuff feminine. It looks like he's having the vibe of the content's a little bit like a midlife crisis vibe, right? So there's all this stuff that they're just interpreting from the few posts that they've seen. They don't follow me. They're not in my tribe. They're not necessarily the person I'm trying to serve with my content. And so it's interesting, right? This is what happens. I could have taken the feedback and been like, oh man, I'm doing this wrong. Or, oh no, I should be on Snapchat, but I haven't wanted to be on Snapchat. Maybe I could have done all of that and then been left with just more confusion or feeling like I didn't do it right. But that's the whole premise of this show, Marketing for the Rest of Us. Like, listen, I've been in marketing for a while now, and her own observations and recommendations were overwhelming for me. I'm like, I'm not going to go on Snapchat and then do all this other stuff. And frankly, my text posts on Facebook are long, and I like the engagement that I get. Could I do it differently? Maybe. Maybe I'll test that down the road. But for now, I'm doing what I'm doing because it's what I can be consistent in. Do you hear that? I'm doing what I'm doing right now because it's what I can be consistent with. Most of us get this kind of feedback and then we shut down because we're like, oh, well, I didn't do it right. And then we're not consistent in anything. It's ridiculous. This is exactly what I created this show for. You and me in this tribe just need to get consistent, because if we could start to develop our message, if we could start to find a following, find a tribe who valued what we had to say, regardless of how much text it is on a social platform, we would actually start to find our voice and we would own our message and we would grow our business. But you being inconsistent because somebody gives you all sorts of feedback about how you're doing it wrong, makes you not want to play the game. And what I know has to happen, what I know can happen, is for you to not play the game. I'm not going to worry about how I'm holding my phone and should I be pointed out the window? Should I be pointed with this plant behind me? Should I lean forward? Should I lean back? Look, this is all the stuff that people want to say to you who most of the time aren't even in the game. Now, this person's in marketing. I actually haven't looked at their content. I could go look at their content. But isn't it interesting? I wonder if they've done half as many Facebook Lives as I've done. It's interesting what people have opinions about things that aren't in the game. Again, I don't know if this person maybe this person will watch this video. That's fantastic. I actually don't know if they're in the game of their own marketing. They might market for other people, but do they do Facebook Lives? I don't know. Do they write long posts and see the kind of engagement and connection it creates for people? Did she read the chat threads on my post that of the people, of those of you who have interacted and said that the content connects? Do you see what I'm after in my marketing is connection? I'm not after the recipe of what's right and wrong, and I'm marketing from a place of certainty, not from a place of right and wrong. You find your power in marketing when you come from your own certainty and your own truth. I can figure out different tools, But I will be damned if I'm going to stop sharing consistently day after day, because this is what I'm doing. This is marketing for the rest of us. See, the whole point was that when I say things like marketing for the rest of us is for those of us who don't want to chase algorithms, who don't want to have to figure out what all the rules are in social platforms, that we don't have to figure out whether YouTube skews masculine or feminine, right? Like this show and what I'm up to, what I'm creating in the world is that there is a way for you and I to compete in this world where everybody has an opinion, but nobody actually asks you questions to seek a fuller perspective of what you're up to in the world. Everybody's going to have an opinion. Your mom's going to have an opinion for you. Your dad, your brother, your friend, your coworkers, some other marketers, everybody's going to have an opinion for you. And what I'm telling you is that all that matters is that you show up every day. You show up consistently sharing what you have to share with the world. And as you do that, and as you build that momentum, and you have the track record, you can begin to look at how to optimize some of the stuff you do. But for most of us, when we get feedback like this, what we do is we actually shut it down. We second guess ourselves. We're like, wow, well, somebody else seems to think I should be doing it differently. And those people haven't investigated what you're really up to. So, here's what I want you to know in this episode. You just keep showing up. You just keep creating your content. I don't care how long your posts are, how long your text posts are, videos are, whether you're standing up, walking around. I don't care. What I do care about, if you're going to compete, if you're like me and you're going to compete in this day and age, what I do care about is that you show up and that you share your story. Because nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take your truth away from you. Nobody can critique your truth. Your truth is yours alone to share, and that is what's going to build a tribe around you. That's it for today, gang. Thanks for hanging out with me. Until tomorrow, when we do another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us, have a great day.